So previously we saw that we have alerts firing, which is alarming. But so far we've seen that there is a service that we can access, and we've been accessing it through the Kubernetes proxy. This service, this user interface service to the alert manager, which gives you what is really a very basic view of the alerts that are firing. You will have at the very least a dead man switch, which you've seen is an alert that will fire and will never get resolved. And we use that dead man switch to test that the entire system is working. Oh, and by entire system, I mean the entire monitoring and alerting system. Imagine the case if Prometheus were to silently crash. We might be thinking, hey, the system's running well. We haven't had an alert for the last week. And we might not realise that actually there's serious problems with the system, and it's just that Prometheus has fallen down, so we're not finding out about it. What we generally do with the deadman switch is we will configure some external system to check that it is constantly alerting, and if for any reason it stops alerting, then an alarm is raised. Anyway, we won't do that on this course. We're going to concentrate on the other alerts. I'm guessing you're also seeing a target down alert and an insufficient members alert, which we will rectify towards the end of this section. But really, this alert manager user interface isn't intended for any serious monitoring. There's a little bit we can do in here, but I'm certainly not going to sit watching this user interface. The idea is that we set up a configuration to route these alerts to various destinations. And those destinations can be things like text messages or emails, or, as I promised previously, we're going to set up a Slack channel. I don't know if you're familiar with Slack. If you already have an account with Slack, then you can use your Slack account. If you haven't, then just visit slack.com. If you're new to Slack, then you'll need to supply your email address and click Get Started. You can create a number of workspaces, which I've already got one. So just for the demo, I'm going to create a new workspace just for these alerts. I've cut out all the details of signing up and entering your email address and setting passwords and so on. I'm sure you can deal with that, but you will need to set up a URL for this workspace, which has to be globally unique. So I'm going to go for Fleetman Workspace, followed by a dash, followed by my initials, and it will guide you through making sure that that is a unique name. And there are a few more basic steps to follow. Eventually you should find yourself on the regular Slack page. Now, I realise that many of you will be familiar with Slack. It's very commonly used now in workplaces for communication. But my plan is I'll leave the general and random channels. I'm going to create a special channel just for handling alerts. And I'll create a channel. So we need now to integrate our alert manager with Slack. Now, the way that we do this is we create an app. Click on the, I hope the details of this won't change by the time you watch this video. Of course, as soon as I release the course, they'll change everything around, but I'm sure you can find your way around. You'll need to create an app. And the name of the app we're looking for is the webhook, in fact, incoming webhooks. And this is just going to allow us to send data into Slack via a REST interface. Click on install and be sure to select incoming webhooks rather than outgoing. So this one here. Okay, I think the next step is to click on add configuration. I don't think there's much to do here other than this looks like the default channel that we're going to be posting to. So select one of your channels. I'm going for alerts. Click on the button. And we have here effectively a user guide for how to work with this integration. Now, the main thing is we're given a webhook URL, which you need to copy. Now, of course, this is effectively your key for this application. You need to protect that key. Don't be committing any code that we write in this section onto any public GitHub repository or anything like that. And I guess you would be breaking Slack's API terms and conditions if you did so. Now, by the time you watch this, I will have deleted this app. So even if I do accidentally let this slip, it should not be a problem. But just to be careful, I will keep it blurred. Anyway, there is a guide further down for how you can send messages to this channel now by sending a REST request. And we're going to do that right now to test that this is working. We'll do this just by doing a simple curl. I've really just copied this command from the user guide. We're going to be doing a post to that URL that we've just seen, and we can specify in this payload command. It's not a great REST API, to be honest, but we specify in the payload here a series of parameters and values. Make sure that the channel name here matches the name of the channel that you've created. You can just send it to the default general channel if you prefer. We're going to send some text, and I've experimented by setting the ghost icon that will appear alongside the posting. So you can either type that for yourself or grab it from the text file as part of this course that called Test Slack Integration. I'm just doing that from my AWS console. You can actually do this from anywhere that you have curl installed. After that, we do need that webhook URL, which again I'm going to have to blur. It did respond for me with a string, quite oddly, called OK. And you should find now, going back to the Slack page, that's looking great. On my alerts channel now, I am seeing that incoming message with the ghost icon. So if you've got this far, then we now have an integration into Slack. All we need to do now is to tell our alert manager that it needs to direct the alerts into Slack.